Dr. Kostler, it's Mary. It's happening again. The water just came on. I'm hearing noises. My dogs are going crazy. I'm hearing stuff in the kitchen, in the bedroom. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, the water just turned on. I'll call you right back. My God, go away! Leave us alone! Oh my God. Bella, come in here!
What is that? You hear that? What is this? Well, it smells like
sewage, nest.
What was that?
I don't know. I'm wigging out.
I don't know.
Oh crap! What is that? What is that?
Shalom, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushua, Kol Halo, Yahweh Bashmel Shah, Bashem Barakakadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and much respect to the Yakim at the labor in his work, and also to the believers scattered across the four corners of the earth, the hopeful elect in the USA. Shalom. The current date, October the 31st, 2021, a very wicked and demonic holiday in which these Babylonians like to commune with the dead and to conjure spirits on the left-hand side as a form of fantasy, all right, and entertainment, all right. So the point of this lesson is that the Lord's going to let these Babylonians' wildest dreams come true, all right. Their wildest fears are going to actually come true in a form of things that they have never seen before or even could imagine would happen, all right, in the form of apparitions, which are ghostly monsters-like figures that are going to manifest themselves during these times when the Lord takes back that veil and lets them see the other side, that other dimension, and the demons that are really surrounding these people. And this movie Host, which is a movie that I saw about a year ago, and it's only like an hour long. It gets straight to the point. But it's pretty damn good, as you can see from the title. Host is crowned the scariest horror film ever in New Study. It's pretty damn spooky, and what it deals with is a lockdown. All right, you had these Edomites who were on lockdown, shut up in their houses, who got bored and started playing with spirits. All right, and of course it started off as a joke, but shit got real quick. All right, things got real quick, and they ended up being bugged out of their minds because of the visions that they were seeing and the experiences. All right, and so the Lord was pretty much showing in this movie what He's bringing to Babylon the Great. All right, because these people, they're going to be punished according to their own imaginations, And as we get in the book of 2 Ezra 15 chapter, around 11 verse, we should understand that the Lord's going to smite this place, modern day Egypt, with plagues as before. And one of those plagues that were, in ancient Egypt was darkness for 3 days and 3 nights. In which during that time, the darkness was so thick that you can feel it. And all kinds of stuff was happening. Strange visions, monstrous visions and all this stuff, so much that the people were dying for fear. And we're going to get into that in this lesson. I'm going to kind of skip around a little bit. I don't want to go through the whole thing for the sake of time, but this is what's coming to Babylon the Great. Wisdom of Solomon 17 and verse 1. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed. Therefore unnurtured souls have erred. For when the unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, and that holy nation that they being the elect, they being shut up in their houses, see, the prisoners of darkness and fed up with the bonds of a long night, lay their exile from the eternal providence. The Lord took away that hedge of protection from these spirits, and these spirits were allowed to really play on the minds of these people. All right, so they were shut up in their houses, you see. So what do you think is going to happen during this time when you have these lockdowns and there's darkness over America? For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered on a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions. All right, strange apparitions, going to ghostly like figures. For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, even though they was pushing themselves into the corner of the wall, crawled up into a ball, shivering and shaking. That could not keep them from the fear that was upon them, dealing with these spirits. It says, but noises as of waters falling down sound about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances. Right? Heavy countenances. It says, no power of the fire might give them the light, and neither could the bright flames of the stars endure to light in their horrible night. It was so thick with darkness that you couldn't see the light. Just imagine walking around with a torch, and you trying to shine it here and there, but you can't really see shit. But all of a sudden a demon pop up, in the midst of your light or something like that, and scare the shit out of you. Or you hear something running behind you, but you can't really see it. So that stuff right there was like making people die for fear. And it's gonna go into that. All right. Verse 6, only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful, for being much terrified. They thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not. So the actual vision that they were seeing were worse than the ones that they were imagining. As for the illusions of art magic, they were put down, and their vaunting and wisdom was reproved with grace. And this is going into those soothsayers, all right, these warlocks who were dealing with spirits and communing with spirits during that time. Even they did not have control over, these demons. Verse 8, for they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from the sick soul were sick themselves of fear and worthy to be laughed at. For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by and hissing of serpents, they died for fear. Look, they were so terrified that they died for fear, denying that they saw the air which could on no side be avoided. For wickedness condemned by our own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience also or always forecasteth grievous things. Right, we'll skip down to verse 14. But they sleeping the same sleep that night, which was indeed intolerable, and which came upon them out of the bottoms of the inevitable hell, were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions, and partly fainted. Their heart failed them for a sudden fear, and not looked for came upon them. And a brother, I think it was from Chicago last week, gave a testimony of, his wife who woke up out of sleep. And she was pretty much scoffing in her mind at her husband. And she woke up out of sleep and saw a demon. This thing's going to be escalated during this time. The brother said, if the Lord's willing to do that to a brother's wife, how much more for these Babylonians? You see? So these are the times that we're going to come into very soon. Verse 16, so then whosoever there fell down was straightly kept and shut up in a prison without iron bars. They were so scared that they couldn't move. For whether he were husband or shepherd or laborer in the field, he was overtaken and endured that necessity. You had to go through that shit. You had to go through that terror, man, which could not be avoided. For they were all bound with one chain of darkness, whether it were a whistling wind or a melodious noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stones casting down, or a running that could not be seen of skipping beasts, or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains. These things made them to swoon for fear. This is pretty much going to happen to these Egyptians today. But for the elect, verse 20, for the whole world, right, the elect of Israel shine with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. Only them who were spread in heavy night, right? An image of that darkness which should afterward receive them, but yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness. Of Wisdom, Solomon 18:1. Nevertheless, thy saints had a very great light, whose voice they hearing and not seeing their shape, because they also had not suffered the same things, they counted them happy. You see? So this terror that's going to come upon these Egyptians is not going to affect the elect during this time, just like it did not affect the Israelites during the time of Egypt, But these terrors are going to be so bad that people are going to die from fear, So it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power, man. This is why we want to be protected during this time and be, and remain humble and obedient so that we don't have to partake in this madness. So with that, I just want to go through that real quick. Lord willing, we'll edify until next time I say, Shalom.